So jump in the chat and, just reflect on something that resonates with you or something that pops up for you. And not only is that going to help me kind of, make this really meaningful for you, it's also going to keep you super engaged. So this won't go for too long tonight. Haha, famous last words. But I'm actually really excited to share with you. So I have to just bring my screen up. Give me a second, guys. Beautiful. All right. So I can't see your chat as I do this now, but I'll be able to come to at the end and I'll be able to see if you had anything that you wanted me to speak more on or any questions you had. So pop it in there and I'll come to it at the end. So, check me out. Far out I was feeling myself this day. Clearly, it was only a few days ago and I was just out in the sun and I think there's something really to be said for when you're just feeling good within your skin to just really stop and question, why is that? What's going on for me? Why do I feel so good? And in this moment, I had just done my complete morning ritual. I had, taken some time to exercise and I was just out in the sun and just present within myself. And it just felt really, really good. Years ago, I would never have snapped a photo like this or shared it. I had a lot of hang-ups growing up about the fact that I was probably the only one within my circle that hadn't had their boobs done. These are all mine. And that like hanging natural side boob to me would have just been like so horrifying to share. And so at 34, to just fully embrace my body in the way that it is and to just really feel good in my skin feels so good. And rather than, I think, it being a matter of me liking what I see in the mirror, it's me truly embracing what I feel within. And it's this rising feminine energy within me. And that's what I'm going to explore with you today. Because throughout my early 20s, I feel like it was feminine energy within me that was repressed and ignored and pushed back. And that's why I never really felt truly myself in any circumstance, any situation, any job, any relationship I was ever in. Because the most powerful, authentic parts of myself weren't being allowed to be called forward. That feminine energy within me was repressed. And I'm going to go through that a little bit today. I'm going to talk about why I think it's truly important that we begin to honor feminine energy in the way we set goals. And I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can start thinking about how you could do that moving forward. So, a little bit about me. I am a storm in a teacup. That's how I like to describe myself. I am a whole lot of energy, but beyond that, I have over a decade of experience as an educator and within the fitness industry. That gives me a whole lot of insight into the way that women set and achieve goals or set and disregard their goals. I owned and operated businesses in Sydney and New Zealand for a decade or more now. I'm in Geelong, I'm still doing the same thing. And my real passion was about forming really strong connections with the members that joined and understanding their story and understanding why their goals were meaningful to them. And then it was always very fascinating for me, knowing their backstory, knowing why the goals they had set was so important and so meaningful, to watch some of them just not, fulfill those goals, to self-sabotage, to let all the doubt and insecurity and poor habits and lifestyle choices get in the way of the dream life that they had envisioned for themselves. And so I've spent a decade not just observing this, but working with women to help them get out of their own way. And that's what I'm really passionate about now. I don't have a specific formula for this, but I can walk you through a process, a journey within yourself to help you get to the source of what holds you back. Because for a lot of people, we just set goals hoping for change and we don't give ourselves the time to turn inward and learn about ourselves and really honor our past and honor what's going on within us and understand what is the source of our frustration, what is the source of the things that get in our way, what is the source of the doubt or whatever it is that pops up whenever we set goals for ourselves so that we don't follow through. So that, more than just saying, hi guys, I'm a PT, I just really like to share that my passion is truly cracking open the parts of people that have gone unnoticed or unexamined or left unchecked for far too long. At the moment, my main passion, I suppose, is working with women as a mind shift expert and achievement strategist. Can you see I'm trying to like label myself in a way that I'm really struggling with my job title at the moment, and this is definitely what has led me to want to talk about feminine energy. It's very kind of masculine to say, well, what's your title, isn't it? And as an energetic feminine being, I'm finding it hard to bring words to what I do for people. But like I said, I've spent a whole decade supporting high achievers in picking up the pieces of themselves after they've fallen apart due to burnout. Burnout within themselves. When I talk about burnout tonight, I'm not talking about being busy. I'm not talking about being overworked. I'm talking about the internal burnout that goes on within yourself when it just becomes so exhausting to live within the realm of your own mind and your own thoughts and your own behaviors and your own attitudes. That kind of burnout, when you look in the mirror and it just feels exhausting to be you. That's the burnout I'm talking about. We see it time and time again in gyms where people come into a gym and they set a goal, usually a weight loss goal for themselves, because they feel a desire within themselves to change. They're not comfortable with who they are. There's some sort of dissatisfaction about the way they are living their life and how that feels. And they think that if I can physically change, that will be enough to manifest the kind of change that I truly want to feel within me. So, the three main reasons I see burnout happen for women is doubt, comparison, and insecurity. When we talk about feminine energy, right? I think a lot of people worry that if they give into the feminine, what they are actually giving into is the doubt, comparison, and insecurity that sometimes holds them back. These are words that we associate with being a woman, right? We think that's part and parcel of being a woman, the things that we have to face, right? Doubt, comparison, insecurity. That's not necessarily true. But let's talk about why these things are a problem and why we can't just accept them as part of who we are. The problem is, for most of us, we have been battling these things for so long that we just think this is who I am, right? That's not necessarily true. It's actually never true. Doubt gets in our way because when we doubt ourselves, when we have self doubt, we become stuck in our own ways. Because when we doubt what we are doing, when we doubt the future we are building for ourselves, it becomes more comfortable to just remain in the situation that we are in, even if we're unsatisfied with that, because we like what is familiar. Yeah. And so when we let doubt win, when we let doubt rule, we become stuck and unable to fully step into our own expression. It happens in little ways and it happens in really big ways. If you go to post something on social media and you go, but what will they say? What will they think? You start to doubt yourself. You are limiting your capacity to just fully live your life out loud as the fullest expression of yourself. That's a small example, but you'll see it in your creative pursuits or the things that you're passionate about. When you go out into the world, maybe it's within your job. When you sit on your hands, you don't raise them. You don't say that idea that you have in a meeting or share something with your colleagues. When you let doubt win, yeah, it limits your capacity to be the fullest expression of yourself. The next thing is comparison. Hold on, Steve's coming home. Hello, babe. Could you close the door for me? Sorry. Thank you. How are you? Good. Okay. Comparison. Yeah. When we are compelled, yeah, to compete, to seek validation, and want to create proof, constant proof of our own value, yeah, that becomes a problem for us. And the same goes for insecurity as well. Yeah. If you have insecurities within you, it's because you are unaware of your own wonderful being and your current imperfect perfection. And I truly believe if we move towards truly embracing, cultivating, calling forward our own feminine energy, it's not going to create more of these things within us. It's actually going to release these things because I believe it's the masculine energy within us that perpetuates these things, that makes us feel so competitive, that causes us to doubt ourselves, that makes us feel like we constantly have to show up and succeed and prove ourselves again and again. Feminine energy doesn't do that. Feminine energy is far more nurturing and gentle and loving and allowing. And that's why I think it would best benefit all of us as women if we called more of that feminine energy forward and started to look at the world through that lens. I don't think that's what's been happening for most of us. As women, we are truly divine beings, and I don't think we are told that often enough. Hand on your heart and hand on your belly, if you can really feel in to who you are and the magic that is already within you, yeah, we are wonderful. And when we actually allow our intuition and our instincts to come forward and take the lead in our lives, what we do as women is remarkable. We are love and we are light. We literally create life. Talking about goal setting in this way is actually really new to me. This is the first time ever that I'm showing up in this way and sharing this expression of myself. And so I hope you can allow me to be a little bit scattered and a little bit all over the place tonight, because I'm still exploring this within myself. It's something that I woke up thinking about, last week, and I haven't been able to let it go. I feel really called to speak on this subject. And I feel like if you can allow me to evolve forward in real time with you, what it does is it opens up your own capacity to allow yourself to evolve forward and show up imperfectly whenever you are working with me or working with a group alongside me. So as I was saying, in 2020, in the year that we are in right now, as women, we've come a long way, right? Through history, I think we've made strides as women, but still my belief is that we are collectively governed by patriarchy. I'm not about to get on my own feminist high horse right now. It's not the space for it, but I truly do believe generally we are collectively governed by patriarchy. And I think you can recognize that there is a patriarchal idea that to be successful, you need to achieve certain things, and there needs to be accolades that we can physically see in your life. Successful people, right, have money, wealth, power, status, yeah? And the symbols for success are all seen in accolades, aren't they? As a society, we value productivity and production above all else. What can you do and how fast can you do it and how much money can you make from it? My experience within the fitness industry, let's move me over here. I'm going to speak about my experience in the fitness industry because I think it may help you in understanding your own perception of body image and the way that you should be setting goals when it comes to health and fitness. So as a business owner within the fitness industry, I had spent over a decade being initiated into a business model that had very much been built from a masculine standpoint. Okay, so before I owned the training room Geelong, I worked within a franchise in Sydney. Very successful franchise. We did very well as part of that franchise. And what I can say about the industry generally is that health and fitness is mostly about analytics and metrics. Yeah. So even as coaches or trainers, whatever you want to call it, when we bring members or clients on board, it's all about goal setting and then measuring, readjusting, assessing. It's about weighing, measuring, pinching. Yeah. How fast can you run? How much can you lift? How much do you weigh? Numbers, 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 measuring constantly. Yeah. Even when businesses are branded to attract women, the model is very masculine. Masculine energy is what I mean, right? Yeah. It's that force, it's that push, it's that grind, it's that hustle. What can you do? Show me now, prove yourself, compare, compete. Yeah. So even when the businesses that are created to attract women are created, it's still a masculine model. Just because you have a pink logo doesn't mean you're operating with more feminine energy, right? Being around feminine energy isn't just about being around more women. You can be in a group of women and the energy is still very masculine, right? So if you have ever set goals for yourself, if you've done it independently or you've worked with a coach, and then you've just struggled to really align yourself to them, if they just haven't felt good, if you haven't felt compelled or committed with those goals, I think it's not that you have the wrong goal. I think the vision that you hold for yourself, is yours. You wouldn't have that vision if it wasn't meant for you. But potentially it's just been the approach has not been right. Yeah. The approach has needed you to call forward a lot of masculine energy. And you are probably an energetic being that would do better led by feminine energy. And that's why it's never really worked for you. My own personal approach to training, there I am, messy mirror behind me because my son had touched it. It was little then. I don't know how long ago that photo was, but it was a while ago. I think I wanted to talk about my own personal approach because for a long time I felt like a fraud in the fitness industry, right? Because I've never been all about metrics and analytics, and I can lift a shit ton of weight. Let me tell you, I can lift more than your boyfriend and your husband. I can lift more than my husband on most days. I don't muck around in the gym. However, my approach has been about deep embodiment work. If you follow me on socials, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I'm consistent in my approach. Health and fitness is a way of being, it is who I am. It's not just something that I do. There is no off season for me, right? I've spent a whole 10 years really working out what it is to feel truly healthy, strong, fulfilled within my own body, and what things I have to do to be able to maintain that. So the goals that I've set for myself have been less to do with metrics and analytics. I don't weigh myself. I have no idea how much I weigh, right? It's more to do with how I made decisions about how I wanted my life to feel and how I wanted to feel within my body. So I've gone about creating rituals and systems and strategies that come from a place of deep intuitive knowing rather than just picking up a system or strategy that is proven. And I think a lot of things that we see online, a lot of things that we're sold are this is a proven system. This is the strategy that works, right? And it's just a matter of like plug and play. Follow this formula, you'll get this result, rather than allowing yourself to sit and wonder what would feel really good for you and use that deep intuitive knowing of what your body needs and how it would best feel to serve yourself in certain ways. What sort of movement would best suit you? What sort of foods would best suit you? What time of day would best suit you to train? When does it feel good for your body to move? What sort of movement feels best for you? Yeah. Usually, what we do is we just go, this is the outcome that I want. Who can give me the quickest, fastest, easiest way to get there? And because we're in an industry that applauds productivity and production, right? Because we're in a society, forget even just health and fitness, because we're in a society that tells you if you have a goal, you should want to get there really quickly, right? It kind of just contorts the idea of, the fact that our deep intuitive knowing probably actually definitely has all the answers that we need, right? If we just took some time to turn inward and ask ourselves some deeper questions and sit still long enough to let that deep intuitive knowing come forward and present itself to us, we would know what is best for us and how we should be taking care of our body. I want to just say here, there's my man, masculine energy is very important. I'm not here to poo-poo masculine energy and say you should disregard it altogether. If you've not done much work around masculine and feminine energy, it can be a little bit confusing. We have both within us. They're synergistic, they work together. It's like yin and yang. And it's important to respect and honor the masculine energy that is within us as women too, because we do need systems and strategies. It serves us to track things at certain times. Depending on where you are, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're right at the beginning of your process, then we do need to track and monitor things more carefully. We need more systems and strategies so that we have the data to know what works best for you. But if you're years into your journey, you know the sorts of foods that you should and shouldn't eat. You know the type of movement that feels good for you. You have data about what has worked and what has not worked for you. So we don't need to take such a masculine approach to the way we design your program, right? Everybody is different, of course, and you need to know what is best for you. What kind of flow do you need between masculine and feminine to best honor the parts of you that will be able to produce the result you want, but in a way that feels really, really good? A beautiful analogy for masculine and feminine energy is that, like I said, we need both. And if you can imagine, feminine energy is like water. We are flow. Yeah. Feels good. And the masculine energy is like the glass, rigid, structured, contained. Yeah. We need both of these things within us. Masculine energy by itself is just a glass, pretty useless, empty, hollow, not much to it. Feminine energy by itself, woo, we're actually wild and untamed if left unchecked, right? We would just spill out all over the place. So we need to be contained within the energy of the masculine, but we still need our ability to ebb and flow in that glass. We need room to move. So you need both. I hope that analogy helps to make sense, the importance of masculine and feminine within us. I think for a lot of us, because we haven't really understood what feminine energy means, I can't, this is an express workshop, so I'm flying through these things, but hopefully it's getting you to kind of think of things. And, if this interests you, there are plenty of resources I can share with you. But I think many of us as women have resisted embracing feminine energy as our superpower, as our guide, because we think that if we're feeling into feminine energy, it means that we just have to surrender, sit and meditate, and just wait to receive. That it makes us vulnerable, that it makes us weak in some way, that it means that we have to go second, I guess, because we perceive that masculine energy is always going to be more dominant. And that is just not necessarily true. It doesn't. What feminine energy means and embracing feminine energy means is that we're prioritizing integrating our body's intuition and our soul work into our life design, so that we still set and achieve goals, but they are going to make us more of who we are. They're going to uplift us, rather than make us feel like they are crushing us, rather than setting goals that feel heavy, that wear us down, that burn us out, that challenge us and push us and force us to grind. When we integrate our body's intuition and our soul work into our goals, it means that we can actually enjoy our life and the freedom that we are creating in the process as we set our goals and go through the process of achieving them. That is our life, and we need to be in flow with life. If you are not in flow with life as a woman, if you don't allow that feminine energy to guide you and let you feel into each day and honor what your body knows, that intuition within you, that energy within you, you won't enjoy life. You won't. You'll feel like you're on the wrong path. You'll feel like you're always doubting yourself. You're comparing yourself. You have insecurity because there's something within you that is urging you to turn inward and pay attention. That's your feminine energy, that knowing, that being, that wisdom from within. And we need to honor that as we set goals for ourselves. So my urge, my invitation, the way that I'm going to work with women moving forward is that we are definitely going to set our sights on goals that help us to live a life by design, the life that we know we are worthy of, the life that we want. We are most definitely going to set some very clear goals for ourselves. It's not about, making the goals fuzzy or gentle. You can have those firm goals in place for yourself, but we're going to call forward the divine feminine goddess within us. And it's going to look different for every woman. Doesn't mean I'm going to require or ask you to sit and meditate, right? It's not about being pretty or soft, The feminine is actually so powerful. Think of a mama bear. Think of a woman as she's birthing a baby. For me, feminine energy, it's not a gentle whisper. It's this raw, it's this unleashing, this uncaging. To me, when I think of my own feminine energy, what happens to me, I feel expanded. This expansive energy runs through me and my chest raises and I just want to meet the light. I have a big connection with the sun and sunlight, and that feminine energy within me comes bursting forward. As opposed to when I'm in my masculine and I'm grinding and I'm pushing and I'm usually at my desk and doing the work and trying to get through things, everything is very restricted, very compressed, very heavy. Yeah, that's the difference that I feel. I know I'm in my feminine energy. I know I'm in flow when I'm in that expansive state. So you just need to work out, how does feminine energy work through you and how does it feel, and how do you know when you are being led by feminine energy rather than allowing yourself to be dominated by patriarchy or the masculine energy that you are just used to being led with. So 2 ways when we're goal setting. I have a million, but I just thought for time's sake, I'll share 2 ways that we can start to think about calling forward the feminine when we are goal setting. So the first thing that we're going to look for when we're setting our goals is prioritizing alignment and purpose over metrics. So it's about how you want to feel, how you would like to speak to yourself, how you would like to acknowledge who you are and who you are becoming throughout the journey, rather than it just being about metrics, rather than it just being about, when I stand on the scale, have I been successful this week? There needs to be other things that we are looking at to define what a successful week is. And they are going to have to do with alignment and purpose. Alignment to what? And what purpose? Well, friends, that's a different conversation for a different day, and something that we are definitely going to be exploring if you're working with me in January in the Weight Loss Mindset Transformation Program. I'm going to give you the space to really be able to answer that with clarity for yourself. What am I aligned to and what is my purpose? If you know these things before you set your goals, you're not going to rely on metrics to tell you whether you've had a good week or not. Because in my opinion, if your week didn't feel good, if it didn't make you more of who you are, if it didn't make you feel just alive, if you aren't living a life that feels wonderful, why the hell are you stepping on the scales? Because even if you did lose weight that week, if it was making you feel restricted, if it was weighing heavy on you, if you hated it and were thinking, fuck this shit the whole time, my friend, I don't care how much weight you lost, it's not a successful week. That's not a way to live your life. Stop doing that. Right? You'll still hate yourself 5 kilos lighter. We need to work on really understanding what we are aligned to and what we feel our purpose is, and making sure that that is what we prioritize over everything else. Doesn't mean you still can't lose weight. Of course we can lose weight, but we're going to do it in a way with methods and with self-talk and with strategies that actually uplift us and align us to our own purpose. Makes it far more interesting than working out how many calories can I eat, what bread has the least amount of carbohydrate. Who gives a shit, girlfriend? I want to know, what are you telling yourself when you look into the mirror? How does it feel to be you? How does the breath feel in your body? How are you motivating yourself to move? These are the deeper questions. These are the things that are going to allow you to get to the next level of yourself. Because even if you had a week where the numbers on the scales weren't quite right, you will be able to deal with that, because there's going to be so many other small wins throughout the week that have, made you feel alive and just fully present in your own being. And it's going to feel wonderful. So you're going to continue, and the result will come because you do continue. The second thing is really, really understanding that we need flow and intuition over rigidity. So a lot of the times we set plans for ourselves and we decide, all right, this is what I'm going to do for the next 8 weeks. This is the food I'm going to eat. This is the movement I'm going to do. I cannot deviate from this plan or I'm a fucking failure and it's over. Right? We go, this is the time I'm going to do this with 100% commitment. I'm in. Ugh. And then our bodies, present in different ways. Maybe it's time of the month. Maybe you have a headache. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you deal with something emotionally that, just throws you off course. if we don't give ourselves permission to use our intuition and to just flow with life and respond accordingly to what's happening within us, yeah, it becomes a problem. And that's when we make everything black and white, when we want everything in color. And if you just allow yourself permission to listen to what your body needs and still remain on track, it's not a problem. And you're able to let go of comparison and competition and your need to challenge yourself. It's only a problem if you're challenging yourself and you're demanding a specific outcome by a specific date. You can't have freedom and flexibility if you're pressuring yourself to have a specific outcome by a specific date. Say it is the time of month for you and you just really don't feel like moving and your body is just urging you to just rest, to just restore itself by just not moving and eating more than you would usually eat, just to give it that sense of just comfort. We can all relate to that. But if you're being rigid about the plan that you're on, you're like, no, I can't do that. I have to ignore what my body is asking for. And I'm going to, push through and I'm going to whatever you do. Or you don't. You just go, oh, well, I'm off track now and I can't get back on track because I've stuffed it up. If you're black and white, if it's right or wrong, yes or no, it becomes a problem. The feminine doesn't do that. Masculine energy is black or white, yes or no, right or wrong. Feminine is allowed to flow and meet needs and nurture, and it will get back on track because it's never really off track. It's honoring what you need. It feels really different. And that's not about being lazy or apathetic or giving in to yourself or letting yourself off the hook. It's about truly honoring what you need. And what you will find is if you are more open and conscious of what needs you have within you, we don't just turn to quick fixes like overeating or binge eating. Yeah, we're actually more in tune with what we need, and so we don't rely on the poor habits that we might have leveraged in our past. We're actually more open to fully experiencing what is happening within us and actually meeting the need. A Tim Tam is usually not what we are actually requiring. It's just what we give ourselves to try and distract ourselves from what is really going on within us. So I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. I again just wanted to reflect a little bit on my own evolution within the fitness industry, because like I said, within the fitness industry, it's a masculine energy that is very highly esteemed. And I can reflect when I look back over the last 10 years, it's only been, quite honestly, since I've had my son, that I've really been able to just embrace a softer side of me physically and emotionally. And I can reflect on my time within the fitness industry when I didn't own my own business. So when I was within a franchise, I very much felt like I had to bend and shape shift and fit within the confines of what was required of me to fit in. And I can reflect and see that even though there was always a lot of feminine energy within me, I compensated for this by training really damn hard. And my training became really important to me because even though I was this highly emotional being all the time, I could prove my worth within the industry by flexing. And man, at one stage, I was, training like an absolute weapon because it gave me the opportunity to really flex and demonstrate that I had masculine energy within me. And I gained a lot of respect within the industry and from my colleagues around me. From the way that I could build my body to demonstrate that I had masculine energy. Really, that's what it was. And so I got really lean, I got really buff, I got really strong. And I enjoyed that because of the accolades, I guess, if I'm really, really honest. The thing is, though, I would demonstrate my strength and you could physically see, what I was doing in the gym, but I didn't tell them that I wasn't actually recording anything. People talk about PBs and what's your 1RM and, what's your program and are you doing progressive overload and blah, blah, blah. And even though I understood these things, my depth of knowledge is deep, 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 my friends. Yeah. And I've been able to train other people to do incredible things. When it came to my own training, I didn't record anything. I still don't. Yeah. I ate intuitively. I've never really counted macros or calories for myself. I've done it from an education standpoint, but when it truly came to my own training and eating, everything was intuitive. I eat what my body tells me it needs to eat, and I train my body through scanning. If you've ever done a body scan meditation before, you know you sit into your body and you feel where the tension lies in your body so that you can let it go. I do something similar when I was training. I feel into each set. I do the reps until I get the response, the stimulus out of the muscle that I need to feel to know that it's been an effective and efficient set. I know my body that well. I've allowed myself to really be in tune with the way that I move and how it feels, right? It's all a bit woo-woo. You can't say that in the fitness industry. You can't say you keep going until you just feel that your muscle group has been effectively exercised. Shock horror. It worked. It worked really well for me. However, I will say, even though I was embracing the feminine energy within me to just be intuitive and go with the flow and let my body dictate, my commitment and consistency was leveraged using masculine energy. I'd show up daily. Didn't matter how I was feeling or what I was thinking, I was there. And so that masculine energy was there pushing me forward every day, but I was allowing the feminine to really guide the session. This was really an interesting thing. I put together this presentation very quickly, as you can probably tell, this afternoon. And in this slide here, I felt really compelled to show a throwback picture just to really prove the point that I was really buff back then. And I felt myself feeling compelled to do that. I have a lot of pictures of just, me doing freaking these, and looking really ripped and really tanned and shred lauded, right? And I just found it interesting to just note within myself that I felt compelled, to share a picture. And so there's a part of me, I suppose, that still feels the need to prove my credibility through mirroring what we see within the fitness industry as being successful. A successful coach, to me, is somebody that can really connect with the person in front of them and understand their needs and truly understand how to best program something that is going to not only give them the outcome that they want, but allow them to live their life by design and meet their needs and reflect what their deep driving desires are. Whether I have, incredible delts or biceps is kind of irrelevant to the coach that I can be. There's still a part of me that buys into the messaging that a good coach is going to look a certain way. So as I acknowledge that within myself, I'm letting it go and letting it go and letting it go. It's not always a quick fix, and we need to be patient with ourselves. Even when we have levels of awareness, it's like an unlayering. And so I just felt really compelled to share my truth with you and instead share a beautiful picture of me with my boys instead. And to just know that in this picture, I'm a good 10 kilos heavier than I used to be within the fitness industry. But that smile on my face is contentment and fulfillment. It's being able to be present. It's being able to just live my life. It's led with feminine energy, to be honest. So, one final point about my evolution through the fitness industry and who I am today as a leader within my community and my business. The way I ran my business when I was within that franchise years and years ago, it really made them scratch their heads, because when you're within a franchise model, there are very rigid systems and structures to that model, right? Because you need to be able to replicate it, which I completely understand. I'm not poo-pooing that at all. However, I was never very good at following these strict systems and strategies, and I always found a way to infuse my own kind of, juice into the way that I ran my business. And it used to make everybody scratch their heads because I wasn't following these systems and I couldn't systemize the magic I had generated within my business. And yet I was experiencing extraordinary levels of success. And this is because there was no specific formula for the fact that I had hardly any staff turnover. And within the fitness industry, that's extraordinary. right? Usually you will see in most gyms, staff turnover is really high. They get burned out really, really quickly. And I had members continue with me for years and years and years and years. The turnover rates were really low. My retention rates were really high. Why? Because 6 steps to 6 ideal clients in 6 minutes was not my vibe. I wasn't about analytics and metrics. I wasn't about how quickly I could get people through the door. I was about developing deep connections and relationships with people. I was led by feminine energy back then, even though I didn't really realize how powerfully I was being led by that feminine energy, because I suppose it wasn't as highly esteemed as masculine energy. So I didn't really shine a light on the things that I was doing. The way that I was talking to my members and developing connections and growing my business, I kind of kept on the down low because it wasn't a reflection of the systems and strategies I was supposed to be following. Feminine energy is about who you are being over what you are doing. And ultimately, who you are being over what you are doing is always, always not only going to feel better, but produce better results in the end. Because when you can feel fully aligned and anchored into who you know yourself as and who you are, and you really like and respect and love who you are, you can keep that shit going forever. You're constantly motivated. You will never burn out. Your energy is endless because it is who you are. And friends, even if you are successful, if what you are doing stresses you out, it shows. It shows. We all know people who are successful by society's standards that are grumpy bastards or don't have great relationships with their partners or their kids, or just always, they have a bad vibe, a shit energy about them, right? You feel that in people. Yeah, your bank account might be, bulging. Yeah, you might have the fancy car, but I wouldn't trade life with you because that looks like shit, right? Who you are being and how it feels to be you is far more important. It's what allows us to live meaningful, fulfilled lives. So, my question today, this evening, if you're still here with me, is who are you being? And who do you choose to be? And what energy is running the show within you? And it's not about judging yourself or criticizing yourself. It's just about pausing and taking a moment to realize that we are in 2020 living in a society where masculine energy is more highly esteemed. But as the beautiful, wonderful, energetic being you are as a woman walking this earth, your feminine energy is just there. It's there. That fire within you that is waiting to burn bright and waiting to shine through you. And so I'm wondering, as you think of your goals for 2021, could you still have the same goal, but go about it with a different energy? Could you approach it differently? Could you talk about it differently? Could you write it differently? That's just a question I'm throwing out there today. In week 1 of my weight loss mindset transformation program, we are doing a whole week on identity work, because it's a very hard thing for most people when I say, are you in alignment? Are you fulfilling your life's purpose? Are you being led by your deep driving desires? When they realize they don't even know what the hell I'm talking about because they've never sat and truly sat with themselves and asked themselves, what are they in alignment with? What is their purpose? What are their deep driving desires? If you can't answer these questions for yourself, my friend, you are actually not in a position to set goals for yourself. Because remember, we want our goals to make us more of who we choose to be. Yeah, we want to be led by who we are, not just the things that we do. Because even if you achieve your goal, if you haven't been able to be in flow with life and enjoy the process and feel really good about it, you're not going to maintain that result anyway. And even when you get there, it feels like shit. So what is the point? If you could just come alive in pursuit of the things that you want in your life, if it could make you more of who you are as you work towards the goals you have set for yourself, wouldn't that be so exciting and so compelling and make you feel so committed and make you find solutions when problems present themselves? Of course it would. Of course it would. So as you're listening to this, if this is something that you would like to find out more about, something that you would like to work through within yourself with support, I really urge you to reach out and let's have a conversation about the Weight Loss Mindset Transformation Program. It begins on the 16th of January, so you still have plenty of time to jump on board. I have 12 women, 13 actually. I got my lucky 13 today. That have already registered. There's still plenty of space for women, and there are bonuses that you unlock instantly when you register. I've made it very appealing to jump on board. So I don't want you to join for the bonuses. That's why I don't like to kind of talk about them. Just know you'll be really excited. But if you can feel within yourself that this is something that you need, this is a fresh perspective that just feels like good and it's making you kind of lean in and think, yes, I would like to hear more of this. Let's do it in a way that is really well thought out, really planned, really structured. What I have created and what I will be sharing in January is going to be completely transformational, not just in your approach to weight loss, but just your approach to life in general. All right. My girls, if you have any questions or anything that you want to share with me tonight, you are welcome to pop it in the comments underneath this video here on Facebook. I've streamed it live into Facebook, or you can just send me a direct message on Instagram as well, and we can keep this flow going. So, like I said, this is the first time I've kind of talked about feminine energy and goal setting. It's something I'm exploring within myself and something that I'm hoping to expand upon. So if this has resonated with you, if you're thinking, yes, girl, this is good shit, go deeper into this, please let me know. I always love your feedback, and I'm always compelled to create more of what is going to be of service to you. So thank you for your beautiful time and your beautiful energy tonight. I appreciate you as always.